Deadpool and Wolverine has the best intro and title sequence ever, and today in Mr. Headcannon, we're gonna prove it. The movie starts with the typical Marvel intro, where we see images from previous films. As usual with each new project, there are some changes. Now we see Deadpool in a scene from Deadpool 1, and the texture behind the logo matches Wade's new suit. In the last few seconds, the gray text that says Studios turns yellow to imitate Wolverine's comic book accurate costume. We saw a similar effect in a couple of trailers, because the titles imitate the colors used by the leads of the movie. But what stands out the most is that Deadpool hums along with the background music, breaking the fourth wall in the very first seconds. This is the first time a character directly messes with the Marvel intro in live action. I say in live action because something similar happened in I Am Groot, but since no one watched that show, it doesn't count. This is proof that Deadpool will act the same way as before. He's telling us that he's gonna make fun of everyone. Disney bought Fox and Deadpool changed studios, but that doesn't mean he won't make fun of Mickey Mouse, Kevin Feige, and the current state of the MCU. And there's a lot more. The next thing we see is Deadpool visiting Logan's grave in North Dakota. He literally digs him up to check if he's really dead because he doesn't trust Agent Paradox. There are some good jokes, like Deadpool mimicking Hugh Jackman's accent and saying that Marvel money will bring him back to life very quickly. Funny that they included that joke the same week Robert Downey Jr. announced his return to the MCU as Dr. Doom. But that's not the most important part. The key is that there's a meta commentary here. In the first teaser for the movie, when we didn't even know the title yet, Ryan and Hugh looked at the camera and promised they wouldn't touch anything that happened in Logan. But now we see Wade touching him all over. This is the director telling us that he knows Logan is one of the best superhero movies ever made, and that he also knows many people consider it Wolverine's perfect ending, but they don't care. They're here to make fun of everyone, whether you like it or not. Things get really good when several TVA agents arrive at Wolverine's grave. They want to take Wade back to the TVA, so he doesn't interfere with the destruction of the Fox universe. But of course, Deadpool resists. He hides behind a tree and asks them to wait, just like in Deadpool 1 when he faced Francis's men. But this battle is much more creative. Wade says he won't hand over his weapons, but he does promise not to use them to kill the agents. But he didn't say anything about using corpses as weapons. We hear Bye 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 by NSYNC playing in the background. This is a 2000s classic that anyone over 25 can hum by heart, and it's much more than just a catchy song. It's a reference to X-Men 2 by Bryan Singer.
Really?
In the middle of that movie, Stryker and his men attack the X-Mansion. Wolverine escapes with some X-Men members, steals Cyclops' car, and when they're far enough away, Pyro turns on the radio to break the awkward silence. The song that plays very loudly is Bye Bye Bye, but it seems none of the X-Men like this band because they immediately turn off the radio. It's a nice nod for those who remember the original saga because the song only plays for a few seconds. And oh, what a coincidence, Pyro returns in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Coincidence?
And there's more. From here on, we see two intercut scenes. On one side, we have Wade brutally and creatively massacring the TVA agents, using Logan's body parts instead of his own weapons, as he promised before. On the other side, we see Deadpool dancing in front of the camera. The choreography is amazing because they hired a professional dancer to recreate the original NSYNC video dance moves. Or did you think Ryan Reynolds could move like that? Sorry to ruin it for you. Many people focus on Deadpool's dance moves, but the lyrics of the song actually relate to what's happening in the movie. The first impression is that it's about a breakup because the singer says he's tired of his girlfriend playing with his feelings and that it's better to break up even though she's going to make a scene. In the original video, we see the girl moving the band members with strings as if they were puppets. But in the context of Deadpool and Wolverine, the song has a double meaning. First, it talks about the bromance between Wade and Logan. Their relationship is quite complicated because Wade has always wanted to team up with Wolverine and secretly admires him, although he'd never said it out loud. Wolverine, on the other hand, hates Deadpool because he's the most annoying person in the world. They fight constantly, and deep down, Wade might have wished Wolverine would die because he was jealous of him. In the opening of Deadpool 2, he said he couldn't believe Logan had died heroically because he was stealing his spotlight. He even tried to off himself to match Wolverine.
Envy.
It's totally believable that Wade would sing this song to Wolverine, telling him he's tired of Logan playing with his feelings. At this point in the movie, it also feels like a goodbye. The song is literally called Bye Bye Bye, and it plays while Deadpool desecrates Wolverine's corpse. This is Deadpool saying goodbye to this version of Logan because they won't be together again. Later on in the movie, we see several variants of Wolverine, and Wade manages to team up with a Wolverine who wears the classic yellow suit from the comics. But this Wolverine variant stays dead. They don't resurrect him at any point or travel back in time to change the ending of Logan.
He's dead too.
The second meaning is that this song is a farewell to the Fox universe. Part of the lyrics say, I don't want to be the fool in this game for two, so I'm leaving you behind. I'd love to play the original song for you, but I don't want the FBI knocking knocking on my door. What matters is that this is how Wade feels about his relationship with Fox. Even though the character had 2 successful solo movies, he was also ruined in X-Men Origins Wolverine. The studio kept the character frozen for years, and that universe's continuity was a big mess. It's normal for Wade not to love Fox, and it makes sense that he wants to leave that universe as quickly as possible. Later on, we'll see Wade use Cable's watch to travel to Universe 616 in a failed attempt to become an Avenger. And when he arrives at the TVA, one of the first things he does is break the 4th wall to say goodbye to Fox, saying he's going to Disneyland. The bye-bye-bye isn't just for Logan, but for the entire Fox universe. This is one of the main themes of the movie. This intro contrasts with what we see in the end credits, where we also hear a farewell song, but it's nostalgic instead of fun. While we see behind-the-scenes footage from the Fox movies, we hear Good Riddance by Green Day, reminding us of the good times in the Fox universe that will never live again. At that point, they don't make fun of that universe anymore. They take it seriously.
I miss him, Alfred. I miss him so much.
Now let's talk about the titles themselves, so you don't say this video is clickbait. Just like in Deadpool 1, the titles appear in slow motion in the most unexpected places. On Wolverine's bones, on a smudge on the camera, and on the remains of a TVA agent after being pruned. One obvious difference with Deadpool 1 is that in that movie, they didn't use the real names of the people involved. We saw nicknames like God's Perfect Idiot or A Moody Teen because Fox wanted to make it clear that the movie was a parody. In Deadpool and Wolverine, they used real names. But the fun part is that the titles aren't just stuck on the screen. Wade interacts with the titles because he can break the 4th wall.
I don't get it.
He kicks down the producers' names, you see the titles reflected in one of the agents' masks, and after knocking one of them out, Wade grabs the camera to take a selfie, pretending he's using a phone. Wade uses his breath to fog up the lens, and we see Morena Baccarin's name. Deadpool draws a heart next to his name because Baccarin plays his girlfriend, or she used to play Wade's girlfriend. Later we find out that Vanessa broke up with Wade a while ago, and is currently dating someone else. This little heart tells us that Wade is still in love with his ex, and that he's going to do everything he can to get back with her.
So romantic.
But that's not the best moment. The best interaction with the titles is this one, where Wolverine's skull eats one of the titles after Wade kicks it like a soccer ball. There's a triple reference here. Wade says Maradona from outside the box, as if he's imitating Diego. It's a shame he didn't use his left leg because Maradona was left-footed, but it still counts. The second part of the reference is that Ryan Reynolds really loves soccer and even has his own team in the Welsh League. That's why one of the Deadpool core members is dressed like this. The third part of the reference is that in a cut that didn't make it to theaters, Blind Al called the white powder La Maradona. We know this is true because people who saw the first few minutes at CinemaCon mentioned it, but that line was removed from the final cut. At least they did mention Maradona, but in a better context.
Great!
And it's no coincidence that this scene is full of blood. There's blood flying everywhere because Marvel wanted to confirm to everyone that this movie was rated R and that they were going to respect the tone of the previous movies. I know some folks are trying to rewrite history now, but I remember many people had doubts when Disney bought Fox and acquired all their characters. I remember them saying Disney was gonna tone down Deadpool to make it family friendly. The best way to get rid of all those doubts was to include a scene like this, which is just as violent as what we saw in the first 2 movies. Deadpool rips an agent's head off using Logan's legs, uses Wolverine's skeleton as a whip, and throws some of his ribs like they're knives.
Brutal!
The scene ends with Wade putting on part of Logan's arms to pop out his claws, and only then we see the movie title. You might be thinking it would have been better to wait until Deadpool and Wolverine were together to show it, but technically, we're seeing them together. One of them isn't alive, that's all. This scene shows the creativity of the whole Deadpool and Wolverine team, from Ryan Reynolds to Sean Levy. I'm not surprised they did something like this, because they had already pulled off the best marketing campaign in movie history. We talk about that in this video over here.
We should watch it.